Imagine a disease that slowly destroys your brain. It makes you forget even simple things and turns a smile into something scary. This is
Have you
deadly
ever kissed
smile, a
someone,
deadly
drank from
disease that
someone else's
literally
cup,
eats the
or
brain
maybe
from the
had
inside.
sex?
What
If
you're
the
about to
answer is
read will
yes,
make you
there's a
think
chance
twice
syphilis
about
is
your
closer
life
than you think.
because this
Have
isn't a
you ever
story
kissed
or a
someone,
horror movie.
drank from
This is
someone else's
real,
cup,
and very
or
few
maybe
people talk
had
about it.
sex?
At
If
first,
the
it
answer is
feels like
yes,
being
there's a
tired
chance
or a
syphilis
little
is closer
unwell.
than you think.
Maybe your lips
Have you ever
tremble
kissed
slightly,
someone,
or your face
drank from
makes a
someone else's
strange
cup,
grimace you
or
can't
maybe
control.
had
But
sex?
behind these
If
small
the answer
signs
is
is a
yes, there's a
terrifying
chance
process
syphilis is
that
closer than
slowly
you think.
destroys brain
Have
cells,
you ever kissed
changes who you
someone,
are,
drank
and
from
takes
someone else's
control of your
cup,
own
or
face.
maybe
This
had
disease
sex?
doesn't spare
If the answer
anyone.
is
It
yes,
can
there's
appear
a
at
chance
any
syphilis
age,
is
hiding
closer than you
behind a
think.
smile you think
Have you
is
ever
normal.
kissed
The
someone,
longer it
drank
goes
from someone else's
undiagnosed, the
cup,
more
or
dangerous it
maybe
becomes.
had sex?
We're going to tell
If
you
the
the
answer is
truth about
yes,
deadly
there's a
smile,
chance
how
syphilis
it
is closer
spreads,
than you
what
think.
early signs you
Have you
should
ever
never
kissed
ignore,
someone,
and why
drank from
doctors
someone
haven't
else's
yet
cup,
figured out how to
or
stop it
maybe
completely.
had sex?
You'll also
If
hear
the
real
answer is
stories of
yes,
people who
there's a
have it
chance
and
syphilis is
see how it
closer than you
changes their
think.
lives
Have
forever.
you ever
And
kissed
this
someone,
is just the
drank from
beginning.
someone
What
else's
you'll read
cup,
next
or
might make
maybe
you look in
had
the mirror
sex?
a little
If the
differently.
answer is
It
yes,
starts.
there's a chance syphilis
Symptoms
is
get
closer than
worse
you
over
think.
time.
Have you
Parts
ever
of the
kissed
brain that
someone,
control
drank from
emotions,
someone else's
memory,
cup,
and
or
behavior
maybe
start
had
to fail.
sex?
Some
If the
people
answer is
have
yes,
sudden mood
there's a chance
swings,
syphilis is closer
uncontrollable
than you
laughter
think.
or
Have you
crying,
ever
or
kissed
even
someone,
complete memory
drank from
loss.
someone else's cup,
Patients start
or
to feel like
maybe had
strangers to
sex?
themselves.
If the answer is
Deadly
yes, there's
smile
a chance
doesn't
syphilis is
rush.
closer
It can
than you
hide
think.
for
Have
decades
you ever
until
kissed
the brain
someone,
begins to
drank
fail.
from someone
And
else's
when it
cup,
happens,
or
it's
maybe
too late.
had sex?
Every day of
If the
delay
answer is
takes
yes,
away more
there's a chance
control over
syphilis
your
is
mind
closer
and
than you
body.
think. Have you ever
Deadly
kissed
smile
someone,
doesn't spread like a
drank from someone
cold or the
else's
flu.
cup,
It
or maybe
slowly
had
attacks the
sex?
brain from the
If the
inside,
answer is yes,
destroying
there's a
brain
chance
cells
syphilis
little
is
by
closer
little.
than you think.
It starts
Have you
small,
ever
but
kissed
eventually
someone,
changes a
drank from
person's
someone else's
personality
cup, or
completely.
maybe had sex?
Scientists found it
If
can
the answer
spread
is
through
yes,
direct
there's a
contact
chance
with
syphilis is
infected
closer than you
tissues.
think.
That means
Have you ever
someone could
kissed
be
someone,
infected without
drank from
knowing
someone
it,
else's
while the
cup,
brain
or
is
maybe
already
had
starting to
sex?
fail.
If the answer is
Inside the
yes,
brain,
there's
the
a
part
chance
that
syphilis
controls
is
facial
closer than you
muscles is
think.
affected
Have you
first,
ever kissed
then
someone,
memory and emotion
drank from someone
centers.
else's cup,
Finally, the
or
disease
maybe had
destroys
sex?
networks that control
If the answer
speech,
is yes, there's a
coordination,
chance
and
syphilis
basic
is closer
functions.
than you think.
Patients
Have you ever
start to
kissed
experience
someone,
the world
drank from
differently.
someone
They
else's
laugh
cup,
for no
or
reason,
maybe
cry
had
alone,
sex?
and don't
If the answer
realize
is
what they're
yes,
doing.
there's a
A
chance
natural
syphilis is
smile
closer than you
turns into
think.
something that
Have
feels
you ever
out of
kissed
control.
someone,
This
drank
isn't
from someone else's
imagination,
cup,
it's the
or
brain
maybe
slowly
had
breaking
sex?
down.
If the answer is
Doctors
yes,
can't
there's a
fully stop
chance
it yet.
syphilis is closer than
Treatments
you
only
think.
slow
Have you
symptoms,
ever
but the
kissed
disease
someone,
keeps
drank from
progressing.
someone else's
Every
cup,
day of
or
delay
maybe
makes it
had
worse.
sex? If
Deadly
the answer
smile
is
arrives
yes, there's a
quietly,
chance syphilis
leaving
is closer
destruction
than you
behind.
think.
That's
Have you
why
ever
spotting
kissed
early
someone,
signs is
drank
so
from someone
important
else's
while
cup,
there's still
or
time.
maybe had sex?
Real
If the
stories are
answer is yes,
chilling.
there's a chance
Sarah,
syphilis is
28,
closer than you
noticed her
think.
lips
Have you
trembling
ever
and
kissed
started
someone,
forgetting little
drank
things.
from someone
At
else's
first,
cup,
she blamed
or
stress,
maybe
but
had
within
sex?
months, her
If the
smile
answer is
became a
yes, there's
nightmare.
a chance
She didn't
syphilis is
recognize
closer than you
herself in the
think.
mirror.
Have
Her
you ever
facial
kissed
expressions
someone,
felt foreign.
drank from
She
someone
felt
else's
she no
cup,
longer
or
controlled
maybe
her own
had
face.
sex?
Her
If the
friends and
answer is
family
yes,
noticed
there's a
changes
chance
too.
syphilis is
She'd
closer
laugh
than you
for no
think.
reason, then
Have you
start
ever kissed
crying.
someone,
Speech became
drank from someone
unclear,
else's
memory
cup, or
unreliable.
maybe
She
had
forgot
sex?
familiar
If
places
the
and
answer is
even names
yes,
of
there's
close
a chance
people.
syphilis is
The
closer
disease
than you think.
slowly took over her
Have you ever
brain,
kissed
turning her
someone,
life into
drank from someone
chaos.
else's cup,
James,
or
mentioned
maybe
earlier,
had
couldn't
sex?
work 2
If the
years
answer
after
is
the first
yes,
symptoms.
there's a chance
His
syphilis is
emotions were
closer than you
unpredictable,
think.
his smile
Have you
felt
ever kissed
foreign, and
someone,
his memory
drank
kept
from someone
fading.
else's cup,
Doctors could
or
only
maybe
watch the
had
disease
sex?
destroy his
If
neurons
the
and
answer
give
is
medicine
yes,
to ease
there's a chance
symptoms.
syphilis is
Full
closer than you
recovery
think.
wasn't possible.
Have you ever kissed
There
someone,
are many
Drank
stories
from
like
someone
this.
else's cup?
Deadly
Or
Smile
maybe
spares no
had
one.
sex?
It slowly
If the answer
destroys
is
the
yes,
brain,
there's a
leaving
chance
fear,
syphilis is
confusion,
closer than
and
you think.
emptiness behind.
Have you ever
Every
kissed
smile,
someone,
every glance in
drank
the
from
mirror
someone else's
could
cup,
remind you
or
how
maybe
much your brain
had
has
sex?
changed.
If
This
the answer
isn't
is
just a
yes,
medical
there's a
mystery,
chance
it's
syphilis
a
is closer
tragedy
than you
happening
think.
in real
Have you
life.
ever kissed
It teaches
someone,
us to value
drank from someone
control over
else's
our
cup,
body and
or
mind
maybe
while we still
had
can.
sex?
deadly
If the answer
smile is a
yes,
disease you
there's a
cannot
chance
ignore.
syphilis is closer than you think.
Deadly smile
you ever
isn't
kissed
just a
someone,
scary disease in
drank from someone
textbooks.
else's
It's
cup,
real,
or
affecting
maybe
real
had
people,
sex?
taking
If the
control of their
answer is
brain and
yes,
life.
there's a chance
Every
syphilis
day
is
of
closer
delay
than you
makes it
think.
more dangerous,
Have you ever
and
kissed
missing
someone,
early signs can
drank
be
from someone
costly.
else's cup, or
Doctors are
maybe
still
had
researching how
sex?
to stop it,
If the
but
answer
there's
is
no
yes,
cure yet.
there's a chance
All we can
syphilis is
do is
closer
pay
than you
attention
think.
to ourselves and the people around us. Watch for changes in smiles, memory, or behavior. Even a slight tremor or an involuntary grimace could be a warning.
Have you ever kissed
Imagine waking
someone,
up and
drank
looking
from
at your
someone else's
desk,
cup,
and
or
suddenly it
maybe
seems
had sex?
enormous. Your
If the
coffee
answer is
mug
yes,
looks like a
there's a
tiny
chance
pool,
syphilis is
and your
closer than you
pencil
think.
feels like a
Have
giant
you ever
sword.
kissed someone,
Everything around you
drank from
seems to
someone
have
else's
grown
cup,
hundreds of
or
times.
maybe
You
had
start to
sex?
wonder, is
If
this a
the answer
dream,
is yes,
or am I
there's a
losing
chance
my
syphilis
mind?
is closer than you
You're
think.
not alone.
Have you
This
ever
is called
kissed
Alice
someone,
in Wonderland
drank from
syndrome.
someone else's
It's a
cup,
condition where
or
the
maybe
world
had
suddenly
sex?
changes size,
If the
and
answer is
everything
yes,
around you
there's
can
a
look
chance
scary
syphilis
and
is closer
huge.
than you think.
But this isn't a
Have you ever
fairy tale.
kissed someone,
People all over the
drank from
world
someone else's
really
cup,
experience
or
this strange
maybe
condition,
had sex?
and it can be
If the
shocking,
answer is
funny,
yes,
or even
there's a chance
dangerous.
syphilis is
Doctors
closer
and
than you think.
psychiatrists don't
Have you
always
ever
talk
kissed
about it,
someone,
but we're going to
drank
tell
from
you
someone
the
else's
full
cup,
story.
or maybe
Ever
had
wondered
sex?
what it's like to
If
see
the
the
answer
world
is
as
yes,
gigantic?
there's a chance
Stay with
syphilis
me,
is closer
because
than you
what
think.
comes next might
Have you ever
change
kissed
how you see
someone,
reality
drank from
forever.
someone else's
What
cup,
is
or
Alice in
maybe
Wonderland
had
syndrome?
sex?
Real
If the
stories.
answer is yes,
Alice in
there's a chance
Wonderland
syphilis
syndrome
is
isn't
closer
just
than
a
you think.
funny metaphor from
Have
a
you ever
book.
kissed
It's a
someone,
real brain
drank from
condition that
someone else's
changes how
cup,
people see
or
the
maybe
size of
had
things.
sex?
Simple
If
objects
the
can look
answer is yes,
enormous or
there's a
tiny,
chance
and
syphilis is
sometimes
closer than
even
you
your
think.
own body can
Have you
feel
ever kissed
strange or out of
someone,
proportion.
drank from someone
Take
else's
Laura,
cup,
a student.
or maybe
One morning, she
had
woke up
sex?
and noticed
If
her
the answer
hands
is
seemed
yes,
huge.
there's a chance
Every
syphilis is
object she
closer
tried to
than you
pick
think.
up felt
Have you ever
impossible to
kissed
handle.
someone,
She couldn't
drank from
understand what was
someone else's
happening
cup,
and thought she
or
was going
maybe
crazy.
had sex?
Or
If the answer is
Jason,
yes,
an
there's a
engineer from New
chance
York.
syphilis is closer
During
than
a
you think.
bad migraine,
Have you ever
his
kissed
desk looked
someone,
like a
drank from
battlefield.
someone else's
Pens
cup,
and
or
notebooks
maybe
became
had
monsters,
sex?
and his
If
keyboard
the
looked
answer
like a
is yes,
huge
there's a
slab of
chance
asphalt.
syphilis is closer
He
than you
felt
think.
scared and
Have you ever
confused
kissed
because
someone,
reality
drank
suddenly
from
didn't
someone
make
else's
sense.
cup, or
It's not
maybe
just about
had
things
sex?
looking huge.
If the answer is
Sometimes
yes,
everything
there's a
can look
chance syphilis
tiny.
is closer than you
Walls
think.
shrink, furniture
Have you ever
shrinks,
kissed
and people
someone,
look like
drank
dolls.
from someone
Each
else's cup,
episode comes
or
with
maybe had
disorientation
sex?
and anxiety.
If the answer is
Doctors
yes,
think
there's
it's
a
linked
chance
to
syphilis
parts of
is
the
closer
brain
than you
not
think.
working properly,
Have you ever
migraines
kissed
or
someone,
epilepsy.
drank from
But
someone
they still
else's
don't
cup,
know why
or
some
maybe
people see the
had
world
sex?
bigger and
If
others
the answer
smaller.
is yes, there's a
Episodes can
chance
last
syphilis is
minutes,
closer than you
hours,
think.
or even longer,
Have you ever
leaving
kissed
people in a
someone,
state of
drank from
amazement and
someone
fear.
else's cup, or
Sometimes
maybe
these
had
illusions are
sex?
so real
If the
that
answer
people
is yes,
completely
there's a
lose
chance
touch with
syphilis is
reality.
closer than you
Some
think.
can't walk
Have
safely,
you ever
cook,
kissed
or
someone,
even go
drank
outside.
from someone
Alice
else's cup,
syndrome isn't
or
just
maybe
weird,
had
it's a
sex?
real challenge
If
for the
the answer
brain.
is yes, there's a
Causes,
chance
triggers,
syphilis is
and
closer
strange
than you
stories.
think.
Think
Have you
this
ever
is made
kissed
up?
someone,
It's not.
drank from
Alice
someone
in
else's
Wonderland
cup,
syndrome
or
has been
maybe
documented
had
since
sex? If the
1955,
answer is
when
yes,
doctors noticed
there's a chance
patients whose
syphilis is
perception of the
closer than you
world was
think.
unusual.
Have you ever
But what
kissed
causes
someone,
it?
drank from
Surprisingly
someone
normal
else's cup,
things.
or maybe
Migraines,
had
epilepsy,
sex? If
infections,
the answer is
viruses,
yes, there's a
stress,
chance
and lack of
syphilis is
sleep.
closer than you think.
Sometimes just
Have you
being
ever kissed
extremely
someone,
tired can make the
drank from
world
someone
suddenly
else's
grow
cup,
or shrink.
or maybe
For
had
example,
sex?
10-year-old
If
Sarah
the
said
answer
that
is
after
yes,
playing
there's a
hard in the
chance
garden,
syphilis is
her
closer
room
than
felt
you
like a
think.
giant maze,
Have you ever
and her
kissed
toys
someone,
looked like
drank
enormous
from someone
creatures.
else's cup,
Her parents
or
thought she was
maybe
just
had
imagining
sex?
things, but
If the
doctors
answer is
confirmed it
yes,
was Alice
there's a chance
syndrome.
syphilis is closer than you
Another
think.
case involved a
Have you ever
history
kissed
professor.
someone,
After
drank from someone
migraines,
else's
he
cup,
started
or
seeing his
maybe
students
had
as
sex?
tiny people.
If the answer
He
is
didn't know how to
yes,
teach
there's a chance
lectures
syphilis
and
is
described
closer
it
than you
as a
think.
strange
Have you
waking
ever
dream.
kissed someone,
People
drank
with
from
Alice
someone else's
syndrome
cup,
often
or
experience
maybe
time
had
weirdly
sex?
too.
If
A
the answer is
second can feel
yes,
like
there's a
forever,
chance
while while
is this
minutes
closer
fly
than you
by.
think?
The
Have
brain
you ever
seems
kissed
to lose
someone,
its usual
drank
sense of
from someone
reality
else's cup,
and makes its
or
own
maybe
version of it.
had sex? If
Scientists
the
say
answer
this
is yes,
syndrome can
there's a
teach us a
chance
lot
syphilis is
about how
closer
we
than
see
you
the
think.
world. It
Have you ever
shows how
kissed
fragile
someone,
reality is
drank from
and how
someone else's
easily the
cup,
brain can
or
trick
maybe
us.
Had
The
sex?
scariest part?
If the answer
Some
is
people
yes,
have
there's
chronic
a chance
episodes
syphilis is
and live in
closer
a
than you
world where
think.
they can't
Have
trust
you
their
ever
vision
kissed
or the
someone?
size of
Drank
objects.
from someone
It's
else's
like
cup?
living in your
Or
own
maybe
wonderland
had
where the
sex?
rules of physics
If the
don't
answer
always
is yes,
apply.
there's a chance syphilis is
Symptoms,
closer than you
advice, and
think.
risks.
Have you ever
Alice
kissed
syndrome
someone?
isn't just
Drank
weird,
from
it
someone
can
else's
completely
cup?
change your
Or
life.
maybe
How
had
can you tell
sex?
if you have it?
If the answer is
Things
yes,
and your
there's
own
a chance
body
syphilis
suddenly
is
seem
closer
too
than you
big
think.
or too
Have
small.
you ever kissed
Time
someone?
feels strange.
Drank from
Seconds
someone
stretch
else's
out,
cup?
minutes
Or
vanish.
maybe had
You
sex?
feel
If the
disoriented,
answer is
anxious,
yes,
or
there's
even
a chance
panicked.
syphilis is closer
Many
than you think.
patients share their coping
Have you ever
strategies.
kissed someone?
Jason found
Drank from
relief with
someone else's
meditation
cup?
and a
Or
strict sleep
maybe
routine.
had sex?
Laura started
If
keeping
the
a
answer is
diary to
yes,
track what
there's a
triggered
chance
episodes.
syphilis is closer
Sarah
than you
had a
think.
psychologist to
Have you
help
ever
her
kissed
not fear
someone?
her own
Drank
perception.
from someone else's
Doctors
cup?
recommend
Or maybe
controlling
had sex?
stress and avoiding
If the answer
exhaustion,
is yes,
keeping
there's
a
a chance
regular sleep
syphilis is
schedule,
closer than you
seeing
think.
a specialist for
Have you ever
migraines,
kissed someone?
never
Drank
ignoring
from someone
episodes of
else's
distorted
cup?
reality.
Or maybe
Alice
had
syndrome
sex?
can sometimes
If
be a
the answer
sign
is
of more
yes,
serious
there's a
brain
chance
issues
syphilis
like
is closer than
epilepsy
you
or
think.
tumors.
Have
So
you
if
ever
your
kissed
world
someone?
suddenly seems too
Drank from
big
someone
or too
else's
small,
cup?
it's
Or
worth
maybe
talking to a
had
neurologist.
sex? If the
Even
answer
with
is
all the
yes,
medical
there's a chance
explanations,
syphilis is
Alice
closer
syndrome
than you
still has
think.
mysteries.
Have you ever
Scientists
kissed
don't know
someone?
why some people
Drank from
see the
someone
world
else's
huge
cup?
and others
Or
tiny.
maybe had
Sometimes
sex?
perfectly
If
healthy
the
people
answer is
experience
yes,
it
there's a
too.
chance syphilis
Next
is
time your
closer than you
desk feels
think.
enormous,
Have you
maybe
ever
you've
kissed
just caught a
someone?
glimpse of
Drank from
Wonderland,
someone
where
else's
your
cup?
brain is
Or
playing a
maybe
secret
had
game.
sex?
The
If the answer is
shocking
yes,
truth.
there's a chance
Some
syphilis is
people deal
closer
with
than you
this
think.
every day for
Have you ever
years.
kissed someone?
Mark, for
Drank
example,
from someone
lived with
else's cup?
episodes where his
Or
body
maybe
seemed
had
huge
sex?
and everything
If the
else
answer is
tiny.
yes,
He
there's
didn't
a
know what
chance
was
syphilis is
happening
closer
until
than you
doctors
think.
diagnosed him
Have
with
you ever
Alice
kissed
syndrome.
someone?
But
Drank
many
from someone
patients
else's
say
cup?
there's a silver
Or
lining.
maybe had
Sometimes
sex?
they see the
If
world
the
in
answer
ways
is
others
yes,
can't.
there's a chance
Details
syphilis is
become
closer
sharper.
than you think.
Objects feel
Have
more
you ever kissed
important.
someone?
It can be
Drank
scary,
from
but
someone
it
else's
also
cup?
gives a
Or
unique view
maybe
of
had
reality.
sex?
The really
If the answer
mysterious
is
part?
yes, there's a
No one
chance
knows how many people experience this. Some hide it, some think it's just a weird dream. It's a parallel world that sometimes peeks into ordinary life. If you ever feel your world is giant or tiny, you're not alone. Maybe it's your small trip into Wonderland, worth exploring and understanding.